Everyone, how's it going? Zack right here with U of I Extension, here at the Urban Ag Demo Site in Matteson, Illinois, the South Suburban Cook Urban Ag Demo Site. Working on the high tunnel right now. Just getting ready to, well, I'm forming the beds in the high tunnel right now. We finished pouring our concrete pad in here. We're going to get this thing covered. Many more videos about this structure, but haven't done a vlog in quite a while actually. Been having some connectivity issues and working from home and being able to upload videos. It's been a challenge, but I got that figured out now. So yeah, today I'm just out here getting these beds prepped. I'm going to do a little bit of planting. I figured I'd just show you a little bit about what I'm doing right now. So this area was actually tarped for a couple months, just like you see some of these outdoor areas, to keep weed control down, or keep weeds down. One of the things that I want to show everyone is some of these persistent perennial grass weeds that sort of spread and divide with these underground rhizomes or stolon structures, and why it's so important to kind of get these cleared out before you get going. Because right now, you know, this area is a blank slate and it looks super clean. And yeah, it's the first week in September, and very likely weed pressure isn't going to be as bad as it would be in the spring and the summer. But you still want to keep your weed pressure down as much as possible. I'm going to be direct seeding a bunch of salad grain type crops in here, and they're pretty quick growing, pretty fast to germinate and get going and get established, but I still want to minimize weed pressure. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what I'm doing in there. I got my fertilizer mixed up. I have a custom blend of blood meal, feather meal, cut meal, humic acids, some potassium sulfate, customized based on soil test and my saturated media extract testing. I came in here and got some samples yesterday and ran some tests. So I'm basing my amendments on that. The soil is in pretty good shape. It's kind of a silt loam. The soil in here is actually pretty nice. It tilled up really nice with the rotary plow, and then when I tilled to form these beds and carve out the path space, it was left with a pretty good structure, pretty nice crumbly seed bed. So I'm pretty excited about getting going in here. So I'm just going to show you a couple things, and I'm going to get finished up because it's kind of getting late. So one of the interesting things, you know, I wanted to show you here is I have this special tine weeding rake, and even though I've got the beds kind of stamped out, I got the pathway somewhat established, and I use this string line here to help keep that nice and straight. It's really helpful to use a string line. A lot of times people use it for the full path space, or sometimes they mark out the full beds. I actually just use this one string line to keep my beds relatively straight, and I've got four nice 2.5 foot 30 inch by about 36 foot beds. It's not the most efficient use of space in this tunnel, but as you can see, I'm going to have some automation in here in terms of ventilation. I'm going to have an end wall active vent, as well as a propagation and seasonal wash pack area with this concrete pad. So I'm kind of using our high tunnel for demonstration and research, but also just to kind of show multi-purpose use of structure. I'm only using about 50% of the bed space or growing space in here. So yeah, and a lot of you, in urban areas, you might not be able to use your native soil. I have had this tested. We're kind of in a suburban area here, so I'm not, and this is a pretty decent ag soil, so I want to be able to use this soil, although a lot of you won't be able to, depending on the contamination levels in your soil. You'd be bringing in compost, maybe building raised beds in here or something along those lines. But I have the beds prepped, and they look really nice. I've got them raked out. But one thing I'm doing right now is I'm using this tine rake, and if you can kind of zoom in here, you can see there are these little, white stolon or rhizome threads that you see all throughout the bed space in here. And there's not that many, but what I want to do is take this tine rake, and as I move it through here, it kind of pulls some of those up from the surface. This tine rake is actually meant for kind of blind or stale seed bedding, getting those white thread weeds. And as it pulls through the bed, it kind of can unearth some of these rhizomes or stolons here that would, if they get moist and they get buried, they're going to just continue to reproduce perennial weed grasses. So you want to get as much of this material out as possible. By tilling, I actually probably did bring up some weeds from the seed bank, but I'm hoping that with the tarp that was in here that I've killed a lot of those. So I'm going to go through with the tine rake and kind of clear that as much as possible. And then I'm going to come in with my fertilizer blend here. I have this custom blend that I mixed up. This is about 30 pounds of mix here. Got a lot of good stuff, mainly certified organic amendments. I do have some compost, but it's more of a high carbon compost, and I don't have a high nitrogen compost or manure-based compost here right now. So I'm just going to substitute these, animal meal and blood meal and plant meal based fertilizers just for going into the winter production season, because I don't want to add too much nitrogen and phosphorus because there's not a ton of growth going on. We're just going to get these plantings to germinate and grow up to harvestable size, and you kind of hold them in this high tunnel space and harvest over the winter months. So I don't want to over fertilize, especially with nitrogen. That's important. And I'll be able to check that with my perennial sap test with my selective ion electrodes that I have, and we'll do another video about that later. But yeah, so I measured this all out based on my results, and it's about 10 pounds per bed. So there's 4 beds here. I'm just going to fertilize them all. And I weighed this out, but rather than weighing each individual bed need out, what I did was I just took this bucket, and this bucket filled up to the top is about 10 pounds, or about the need for each bed. So each one of these beds is going to get a full bucket full of this mix. And then what I'll do is I'll incorporate it with the tilther, rake it smooth. I'll probably use our bed roller and compress the bed, and then directly plant into it. So that's what we're doing today. It's going to be kind of a short video because it's towards the end of the day and I want to get some of this stuff done. So you'll be hearing more from us soon. We're hopefully going to get this structure up and have some more content, educational content from inside the high tunnel. Hopefully going to get it covered next week. It's just about complete, so we're really excited about that. Kind of winding down some of the outdoor production. Didn't get a lot planted this year. Got a little bit of our raised bed, the demo area planted, some of our burn beds, and a little bit out in the outdoor soil production area. So still kind of working on the site. Didn't get an opportunity to finish it completely because of COVID and working from home, but still plugging forward. So we'll talk to everyone soon.